Hey everybody, it's Cam from the Nerd Book Review. Today I will be reviewing Defiance of the Fall by J.F. Brink, aka The First of Fire. It is 765 pages long. It is a lit RPG, and it is the first book in that First of Fire series. It was published in 2021. There are already 12 books out in the series. That might sound super crazy, but the way that a lot of these lit RPG books work is that they're put out as serials, like a chapter or two every week or two, sometimes more. Some of these guys, for example, the first, so 2021, this book came out, I believe in the spring or maybe early summer. He published 2,200 pages during that first year. 2022 and 2023 both had over 3,000 pages apiece. So every one of these books is 700 or 800 pages long at least. They're basically just being pushed out. So because of that, you have to give a little bit of lenience to the editing and sometimes even, having like repetitive things. The writing quality suffers a little bit. This one suffers more, I think, than some of the others do, but still, judging from a pure lit RPG and that story element, this was still a book that I enjoyed quite a bit. So I'm excited to talk about this one as a book that I still enjoyed, yet I thought the writing quality wasn't great. So I'm excited to talk about it. This is the third lit RPG audiobook series that I've started reading after He Who Fights with Monsters and Dungeon Crawler Carl. I definitely think that the first two have a higher level of writing and editing than this one does, but I have been told by a bunch of people in the very active Lit RPG Facebook group and Reddit groups that I have really tried to become a part of over this last month or so, asked lots of questions and stuff. They all assure me that just the whole basically business model of Lit RPG is just pumping out as much material as you can. And so I have to give a little bit on the editing and stuff. And so I think that really helped me get through the early portions where some of this stuff bugged me and, into where we get in the meat of the story. So let's go ahead and getting all that out of the way, let's talk about the world. The lit RPG system. So when I do these lit RPG books, there's going to be like as many as 10 of these over the course of the next 2 or 3 months. I'll replace just that pure magic section that I normally do with like the lit RPG element of the book. So let's go ahead and merge the plot line and the world building because with this lit RPG portal stuff, that's basically one and the same. What happened is that the planet Earth was finally integrated into the multiverse. The reason that happened is that billions of years ago, there was an emperor in actually what was a different universe, an alternate one from ours, was attempting to conquer the entire universe over the course of millions of years. If you get high enough level in this game, and both your race class, your level class, all of that stuff, you can basically be immortal age-wise. Over millions of years, this emperor attempted to conquer the entire known universe. Well, after millions of years of fighting, he realized he was having a whole lot of trouble getting new troops because all the people that would have been training up his troops are currently fighting in his army and often dying. So he created an AI. That is a minor spoiler. It is part of the whole lore of things, though. So while we don't know it, like as a reader, because Zach, our main character, doesn't know it, everybody else in the galaxy or the universe, and in this case, at least 2 universes, knows this story. So I think it's kind of it's an okay spoiler to tell this part of it. But because of that, it's the whole reason that the story takes place, right? We just find it out over the course of the story. That AI, its whole purpose, basically, it's sentient of its own. It actually kind of runs the universe at this point. After millions of years, that emperor is no longer in the picture, but this sentient AI now is running things, and its whole purpose was to train up people, right? Well, it is still doing that after millions of years. and it just happened to be the Earth's time to be integrated. It actually ends up getting integrated with several other worlds because its magic level on Earth was too low. So they were all mashed together to make a grade D planet. So it goes like A, B, C, D, E, and F. Most planets are like D planets or E planets. I don't know that it's anywhere lists in the books that there's an A. There's one or two B that is mentioned, but most of them are going to be a D or an E planet, right? So they merged with Earth with several others, and then they're now making everybody fight. There's a whole lot more storyline than just that, but that's kind of basically the whole basic premise is that the reason that Earth now has this LitRPG leveling system is because that's the way that this sentient AI is helping train soldiers for this now non-existent empire. One other like important thing to know is that so most humans are able to naturally imbue this magical essence, and they're sent off to like these tutorial camps basically where the AI teaches them. But our main character, Zach, was not one of those people who has the physical ability to do that. But you can still get magical ability and level up from actually going out and fighting monsters and completing quests and things like that, right? So that's what Zach does right from the very beginning. He ends up being like really, really powerful because of the situation that he got put in was kind of both dangerous, more dangerous than what most people had, but also in its own way because it's off and isolated on this island, makes it so that he doesn't have to worry about dealing with other factions other than the one that is part of like the invading force. So Zach, that's the whole thing. He does his whole leveling up stuff and everything like that. Now, the LitRPG element itself. Why do I like the LitRPG element so much for this one? And that is because in addition to the leveling system, which I actually thought was really, really cool, you start off most as an F level, right, for most humans. Then you're able to, as you level up, once you hit level 25, you get a class. And there's different classes from like common, rare, very hard to get classes. What you do influences what kind of classes you have the ability to get. So for example, Zach, our main character, starts off with a hatchet as his, defensive weapon. And so he's going to end up getting the Hatchet Man class. It is a rare class. And so then, you can level that up. You can also level your race. So he's human, Earth affiliated to start off with. And he's going to, be able to level that up. So like if you're an F class, you're just going to live your normal lifespan. An E class, you're already getting yourself up to like 500 years or so. Then a D class, that's where like a majority of even the really good levelers will end up, getting themselves to eventually. They can live like thousands of years. We know one of the people that Zach interacts with, I'm not going to talk about that part of it because I thought it was really fun. The whole storyline of how these things all get happen, and Zach learns a lot of his info is cool. But even if it's not necessarily a spoiler, I just don't really want to talk about that. Then we find people that can be living like thousands of years once you're D class. Then that gives you time to also try to like level up and move your human and both your human level, or both your race level and your class level up even higher. That I really loved, both the class, leveling up your race, your class. You can buy spells from the AI, skills. There's also another thing called the Tao, like your spiritual energy and level that you can also level up. So there's more ways than just, strict combat that you can level yourself up. I think what really set this one apart for me, though, where from a pure like lit RPG element, is that we also have some base building. We're gonna, our main character Zach is gonna have some ability to do some of that, but also we, learn when we see some of the wider story that other people are able to do a little bit of that as well, and like the AI will allow you to, as you complete different quests and things like that, to get more and more stuff from the shop. And I thought that was just an element that I really enjoyed, that it was actually there a little bit in Dungeon Crawler Carl, where, right, they're building up their safe room and they're adding training rooms and things like that. And this does that, but on like a supersized whole town and city level scale, right? I found that was just something that I really enjoyed. It's funny because it was something that some people considered a negative and thought it was a slow. It slowed the storyline down, but it was something for me that I really enjoyed from that lit RPG element. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the bad, the good, and my final thoughts. The bad. It basically boils down to the editing. At one point, the author uses the term "Zach couldn't be bothered" 4 sentences in a row. Let's see, what do I have on here? He can't be bothered, 4 straight sentences. Nowadays is used 3 straight sentences, at least 3 different times. I don't think I even had ever heard of the term decameter, which must be like a tenth of a centimeter or something like that. I have to admit, I was irrationally angry, probably because of the sheer amount of times the term meter, centimeter, decameter is used. That's another one of his, like Zach, our main character, will be in a fight and the blade will miss him by a decameter, or something like that. And that gets used a lot. I shouldn't be upset. The author is not an American, so that's probably also part of the issue, is that he's writing in English, but he's not an American or a Brit. English isn't his first language, but he should have made Zach, our main character, be European or something then, right? Our main character, Zach, is definitely confirmed to have supposed to be an American. He's like an ad agency person. So, not math. I don't know why he would have been using the metric system as an American, ad agency exec, not a scientist or anything like that. So at times, just because of the sheer amount of times measurements are used, it made me irrationally angry that you had so much metric that it wouldn't have mattered one bit. He could have just made like Zach a Brit or something, right? We do see like some British towns at one point because the whole Earth, like I mentioned, got jumbled up. And when I say it got jumbled up with other places, also like different areas. So like let's just say the town of say Caldwell, where I live, right? Caldwell might not be in Idaho in the United States anymore. It could be somewhere, the whole other side of the globe, right? Everything just got that mixed and meshed up. So, anyways, basically the editing is going to be the number one issue, and the use of the metric system, and just so frequently when we're supposed to be dealing with an American. That's a personal issue, though, obviously, and I don't know why it irrationally made me angry. I will admit that about 5 hours in, those editing issues, that's where they really peak for me. And that's where he's also doing maybe like the most like initial hand-to-hand combat. And so combine the use of all of those like measurements as well as just terrible editing early on. I thought about quitting 5 hours in, but I decided I was going to fight my way through. That's when I really started talking with people on like Facebook and Reddit about like this book specifically. And I decided I was going to push through. And by the time I was done, I think that from a purely like, base and lit RPG element, it's up there with Dungeon Crawler Carl for me in terms of like how much I enjoyed the lit RPG element itself of it. So obviously we're getting into the good at this point now. And I thought that the lit RPG part of it was really good. I thought that it was awesome that you had, so many different elements, but they weren't, I didn't find myself struggling in the slightest bit to figure things out. He Who Fights with Monsters, the one I did before this, I did struggle a little bit. I had to go back and look up like the different, all the different leveling systems, all the different class and spell and how all that stuff was put together. So it took me a little bit for that one. I found that despite there being, you have your class system, you have your race, you have the Tao, you have base building stuff. I found that it was really, really easy to understand all of that stuff. And I really liked that it had some complexity behind it, but that it wasn't difficult for me to follow. And then also, as I've mentioned already a couple times now, I really liked the base building element of it too. That's something that I didn't know that I was going to really enjoy in a lit RPG, but I definitely will look to add on more of that moving forward. Now, in terms of my final thoughts, where am I going to rate this book? I struggled with that a little bit, like sitting down and thinking, a book that is probably the worst edited and written from a skill level of any book that I have ever enjoyed. I realize that dealing with the serial nature of this, since this is being written on a Patreon with 11, 12, 13,000 members, and he's putting out as 3,500 pages a year, that you have to think about it differently. If this is a genre that I want to continue enjoying past just a few series, it's something that I'm just going to have to deal with at times. Also, of the non-Dungeon Crawler Carl series that I've read, it's the one that I struggled the most not to just go to book 2, even though I said I was going to stop doing that because I really just need to pump out some material. I really wanted to listen to book 2 right away, and I chose not to do that because I'm going to get through these other books first, and then I'll go back and do some more of that. So, loved the story, didn't love the writing. What am I going to do? I, in the end, decided that I was going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10, and I'm going to... I give it a 4-star on Goodreads and Amazon. Basically, I think that it's close enough to that to decide that it was that 4-star book for me, because I wanted to carry on and read or listen to to book 2 right away. And I think that I feel pretty good about that 7.5. Loved 10 out of 10 for the base building and RPG element of it, and maybe 5 or 6 out of 10 on the writing and editing part of it. That's not to say that the skill level's not there. It's just that he's pumping out a ton of material. He's also not an English as a first language person, so there's going to be times where I understand why some of the things happen that they happen. But I can't just go back and say that, hey, it's not, no one's capable of it, because Matt Dinneman is showing that he can have a very high skill level and high editing levels with his Dungeon Crawler Carl books. Even the Shirtaloon, He Who Fights with Monsters, I felt like the editing and that stuff, even though he's putting out similar numbers of books, is still, Betty, is still much higher as well. So all in all, enjoyable book. I will definitely carry on and go to book 2 sometime probably this fall, once I have gotten through more of these series to just really see what I enjoy and what I'm going to keep on going forward with, and what series I'll stop. I hope you guys are enjoying these. This will now, by the time this one comes out, be my 3rd of these LitRPG series. If you're not enjoying them at all, I apologize. I'll make sure that I'm always putting non-lit RPG books in between. I realize that a year into my channels, suddenly switching to a whole bunch of lit RPG is a little bit jarring to some people, and so I'll keep on making sure that I put out other videos as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys all have a wonderful time reading. Thanks.